Significant policy shift. The United States has announced plans to withdraw approximately 600 troops from Syria, reducing its military presence to fewer than 1,000 personnel. This decision reflects a strategic reassessment of U.S. involvement in the region, while maintaining efforts to counter the Islamic State (IS) group and support Kurdish allies. The U.S. military's involvement in Syria began in 2014, primarily as part of Operation Inherent Resolve, aimed at dismantling the Islamic State's territorial control across Syria and Iraq. Operation Inherent Resolve is the official name of the U.S.-led military campaign launched on October 17, 2014, aimed at defeating the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, also known as ISIS, ISIL, or Daesh. The operation primarily focused on Iraq and Syria, where ISIS had rapidly gained control of large territories following the U.S. withdrawal from Iraq in 2011. A combination of sectarian violence, a fragile Iraqi government, and the chaos of the Syrian civil war allowed ISIS to exploit the power vacuum. In June 2014, ISIS seized the Iraq city of Mosul and declared the establishment of a caliphate, drawing global concern due to its brutality, swift territorial expansion, and threat to international security. The primary purpose of Operation Inherent Resolve was to militarily defeat ISIS by dismantling its leadership, disrupting its operations, and eliminating its control over territory. Beyond military objectives, the operation aimed to support local forces such as the Iraqi security forces, Kurdish Peshmerga, and Syrian Democratic Forces. The United States also sought to limit ISIS's ability to conduct or inspire terrorist attacks abroad and to mitigate the massive humanitarian crisis caused by the conflict. This included addressing refugee displacement, food insecurity, and widespread destruction in liberated cities. The U.S. military's role in the operation was multifaceted. American forces conducted extensive airstrikes targeting ISIS's infrastructure, oil fields, weapon caches, and leadership. In addition to air support, the U.S. deployed military advisors and special operations forces to train, assist, and accompany partner forces on the ground. Notably, more than 200,000 Iraqi troops were trained as part of this campaign. U.S. forces were also involved in intelligence gathering and precision raids to eliminate high-value targets, including the 2019 operation that killed ISIS leader Abdul Bakr al-Baghdadi. Operation Inherent Resolve was not a unilateral effort. The United States built a coalition of over 80 nations, including NATO allies and key Arab partners, to strengthen the campaign and share the burden of counterterrorism and stabilization. Several major battles defined the campaign, including the Battle for Mosul in Iraq from 2016 to 2017 and the offensive to liberate Raqqa, Syria, the de facto capital of ISIS, in 2017. These battles were intense and devastating, but ultimately successful in reclaiming urban strongholds from ISIS. By 2019, ISIS had lost 100% of the territory it once claimed across Iraq and Syria. The global impact of Operation Inherent Resolve was significant. It prevented ISIS from continuing to export terrorism at the scale seen in its early years and reduced the frequency and lethality of its international attacks. Millions of people were liberated from the group's control, and international aid began flowing to affected regions to support recovery and rebuilding. However, the campaign was not without its challenges and long-term consequences. The fight against ISIS displaced millions of people and left cities like Mosul and Raqqa in ruins, requiring years of reconstruction. Geopolitically, the operation created tension with Russia due to its support for the Assad regime in Syria, and with Turkey, which objected to U.S. collaboration with Kurdish forces. Despite the loss of its physical caliphate, ISIS remains a persistent threat, operating as an insurgent group and continuing to spread its ideology, particularly in ungoverned or unstable areas. As of 2025, Operation Inherent Resolve continues, though its mission has evolved. The current focus is on support, intelligence, and counterinsurgency efforts rather than large-scale combat. The U.S. has reduced its troop presence in the region, but remains engaged through the Combined Joint Task Force, which coordinates ongoing operations. Overall, Operation Inherent Resolve stands as one of the most significant military campaigns in the post-9/11 era, reflecting a shift toward coalition-based land-based strategy and modern asymmetric warfare. Collaborating closely with the Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces, the SDF, U.S. troops played a pivotal role in reclaiming territories and weakening ISIS operational capabilities. The partnership with the SDF was instrumental in territorial defeat of ISIS, although the group continues to pose a threat through insurgent activities. Let's look at the current military presence. Prior to the announced drawdown, approximately 2,000 U.S. troops were stationed in Syria, primarily in the northeast region. Their missions included supporting the SDF in counter-ISIS operations, securing key infrastructure, and acting as a buffer between Turkish forces and Kurdish groups. The troops were distributed across several bases, including those in al-Hasaka and Deir ez-Zor governorates. The decision to reduce troop levels stems from a comprehensive strategic reassessment by the U.S. Department of Defense. Factors influencing this move involve the evolving nature of threats in the region, the desire to reallocate resources, and the assessment that the current force posture can be adjusted without compromising core objectives. Additionally, the U.S. aims to maintain a lean but effective presence to continue counterterrorism efforts and support local partners. While ISIS has lost significant territorial control, it remains a potent insurgent force. The reduction in U.S. troops raises concerns about the ability to sustain pressure on ISIS remnants, particularly in areas where the group's activities have resurged. The SDF, which has been a reliable partner in combating ISIS, may face increased challenges with reduced U.S. support. The drawdown could embolden adversarial forces and complicate the SDF's efforts to maintain control over liberated areas. Regional actors, including Turkey and Iran, are closely monitoring the U.S. withdrawal. Turkey has expressed concerns over Kurdish autonomy near its borders, while Iran-backed militias may perceive the drawdown as an opportunity to expand their influence in Syria. Let's look at the challenges ahead. ISIS continues to exploit security vacuums and conduct attacks, particularly in eastern Syria. The diminished U.S. presence could hinder intelligence gathering and rapid response capabilities, potentially allowing ISIS to regroup and re-strengthen. Influence of Iranian-backed militias. Iranian-backed groups have increased their activities in Syria, posing threats to U.S. interests and allies. The drawdown may reduce the deterrent effect of U.S. forces, enabling these militias to operate with greater freedom. Balancing relationships with various regional actors becomes more complex with a reduced footprint. Ensuring the security of Kurdish allies, countering extremist threats, and maintaining diplomatic influence will require careful coordination and strategic planning. The U.S. decision to withdraw approximately 600 troops from Syria reflects a nuanced approach to its military commitments in the region. While aiming to streamline operations and adapt to changing dynamics, the move carries inherent risks, including the potential resurgence of ISIS and increased activity by Iranian-backed militias. Continued engagement, albeit with a smaller force, underscores the U.S. commitment to counterterrorism and regional stability. The path forward will necessitate vigilant monitoring, robust partnerships, and adaptive strategies to navigate the complexity of the Syrian conflict. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. Subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell to stay up to date with our in-depth content on global military events.